Have you ever felt it? A deep, potent current of energy simmering just beneath the surface of your awareness. An energy so powerful, yet your outer world of abundance, of prosperity, doesn't seem to reflect its true intensity. You have followed the advice, you have set the goals, but a gap remains between the vibrant life force you feel within and the reality you experience day to day. Society has taught us to see this energy, this sexual force, through a very narrow lens. We're told it is a biological imperative for procreation or a fleeting pleasure to be chased. We're conditioned to either indulge it without consciousness or suppress it out of fear or shame. But what if this entire understanding is profoundly incomplete? What if this dichotomy is a prison that keeps us from our true power? What if this energy is not merely physical, but is the very signature of life itself? Consider that this is your creative fire, the generative force, the raw material from which all things are made. It is the same impulse that drives a seed to break through the dark earth and reach for the sun, the same current that carves canyons and inspires symphonies. This energy, in its pure form, is the currency of the universe, and it flows through you right now. In our time together, we will not be talking about techniques of suppression or indulgence. We will be exploring a path of transformation, a journey into 7 profound ways you can learn to honor, harness, and channel this sacred life force, directing its incredible power to consciously create a life of deep abundance and meaningful prosperity. Before we begin, let's make a collective intention. Let's create a ripple of awareness that begins here, with us. If you are ready to stop leaking your most precious resource and start investing it in the life you truly desire, go to the comments right now and declare, "My energy is my currency." Type it in. Feel the truth of it as your fingers touch the keys. By doing this, you are not just leaving a comment, you are making a conscious pact with yourself to honor the wellspring of power that resides within you. And if this conversation already speaks to a deep part of your being, I invite you to join this community of creators. Take a moment to subscribe and turn on your notifications. This is more than a channel, it is a shared space for awakening the immense potential that lies dormant within us. Let's walk this path together. Now, let us begin our journey. First, we must learn to cultivate the power of undivided presence. This is the foundation upon which everything else is built. Imagine your life force is like the light of the sun. When it is scattered, it brings a gentle warmth, pleasant but diffuse. It illuminates many things but changes none of them. This is the state of a distracted mind, where your creative energy is scattered across dozens of tabs in your mental browser. Worrying about the past, anxious about the future, endlessly scrolling through the lives of others. In this state, your potent energy is leaked away moment by moment. But now, picture a magnifying glass. When you place it in the path of that same sunlight and hold it steady, it focuses all of that scattered light into a single, intense point. A point so powerful it can ignite a fire. Your attention is this magnifying glass. When you bring the full force of your presence to a single task, a single conversation, a single moment, you are focusing your entire creative current into that point. It is in this focused state that you become magnetic. Your work gains a profound depth. Your insights become sharper. Your very presence becomes commanding. Ancient traditions teach that where attention goes, energy flows. This isn't merely a poetic saying. It is a fundamental law of existence. Your sexual, creative energy is pure potential. By consciously choosing where to place your attention, you are carving a riverbed for this mighty force. Instead of letting it flood the plains in 100 shallow streams of fleeting distraction, you guide its full power to irrigate the single field of your chosen purpose. This doesn't require more effort. In fact, it requires less. It is the effort of letting go of the non-essential, of quieting the noise, so the signal can become clear and strong. You start by noticing where your energy is currently going. When you eat, just eat. When you walk, just walk. When you work, just work. You are training yourself to become the master of your own current. True wealth isn't born from frantic, scattered activity. It is manifested by pouring the entirety of your life force into the one thing that truly matters, right here, right now. Second, we explore the transmutation of desire into vision. You feel a surge of this potent energy within you. The common response is to seek immediate release, to find a quick distraction or a fleeting pleasure that momentarily eases the intensity. This is like having a handful of fertile seeds and, instead of planting them, simply eating them to satisfy an immediate pang of hunger. You are satiated for a moment, but you have forfeited the entire harvest. True prosperity is a harvest. It grows from a vision that is planted, nurtured, and cared for over time. The transformative practice here is to learn to sit with the intensity of your creative energy, to feel its heat and power without immediately needing to discharge it. Instead of asking, "How can I release this feeling?" you ask a more profound question. What does this energy want to create through me? You hold that raw power within your being and begin to channel it upward, from the seat of primal instinct to the heart of compassion and the mind of inspiration. This is the inner alchemy that the great thinkers and creators have spoken of for centuries. It is the process of taking the raw, elemental force of life and giving it a higher form, a more refined expression. You might channel it into your business, imagining not just profits, but the genuine value and service you are providing to the world. You could pour it into an artistic creation, a song, a painting, a story that expresses a deep truth. You could direct it into a solution for a complex problem that has been vexing you. You are taking the very energy that creates human life and using it to give birth to new realities, new ideas, new possibilities. You begin to see your creative drive not as a problem to be solved, but as fuel for the furnace of your highest aspirations. Abundance is not something you chase, it is something you birth, and the creative energy coursing through you is the very power of that genesis. Third, we must recognize the cultivation of a magnetic aura. Have you ever met someone who, without saying a word, fills a room with their presence? They are not necessarily the loudest or the most physically imposing, but there is an undeniable quality to them, a centeredness, a coherence. People are naturally drawn to them. Opportunities seem to flow toward them. This is not an accident of personality. It is the natural result of contained and cultivated life force. Think of your body and your energy field as a vessel. When this vessel is filled with holes, through constant distraction, negative thought patterns, unconscious release of energy, your life force leaks out. You become energetically depleted. Your presence feels weak, scattered, and porous. You may try to compensate with a loud voice or aggressive actions, but this is merely a mask for a deep inner emptiness. On the other hand, when you practice containing your energy, when you honor it and allow it to circulate within you rather than constantly seeking external discharge, you begin to fill this vessel. Your inner world becomes rich and full. This inner fullness creates an outward radiance. The laws of nature themselves reveal that like attracts like. A powerful, coherent energy field naturally draws resonant experiences, people, and opportunities. This is the true meaning of attraction. It is not a technique you apply, but a quality you embody. Your interactions change. You no longer come from a place of needing something from others, approval, validation, attention. Instead, you interact from a state of wholeness, of offering value from your own abundance. People feel this. They feel the stability and the power in your presence, and they are naturally inclined to trust you, to collaborate with you, and to bring opportunities to you. Your conserved energy becomes your calling card. It silently communicates your discipline, your focus, and your inner wealth long before you ever speak a word. Fourth, you will discover an unshakable emotional foundation. Life is an ocean of constant change, with calm seas one day and turbulent storms the next. For many, the journey towards prosperity is derailed not by a lack of strategy, but by an inability to navigate these storms. A setback, a criticism, or a failure can feel so devastating that it washes away all motivation, leaving them shipwrecked on the shores of self-doubt. The vital energy we are speaking of is the ultimate source of your emotional resilience. When it is squandered, your emotional state is fragile, easily tossed about by external circumstances. You become dependent on outside validation for your sense of worth. A positive comment makes your day, a negative one ruins it. But when you learn to conserve and circulate this energy, you build a deep, inner reservoir of power. You cultivate an inner center of gravity that is unshakable. From this space of deep awareness, we find that the energy is neutral. It is our uncultivated mind that labels it restless or uncomfortable. By learning to hold this energy, you are also learning to hold discomfort without reacting. You develop the capacity to sit with the fire of anger, the chill of fear, or the weight of sadness, and to observe these feelings as passing weather patterns within your vast inner sky. They no longer control you. This inner mastery is the bedrock of all lasting success. It allows you to face rejection and see it as redirection. It empowers you to view failure not as an endpoint, but as essential feedback. You are no longer building your dreams on the shifting sands of external opinion, but upon the solid rock of your own centered, unwavering life force. Your prosperity becomes inevitable because you are no longer fragile, you are resilient. Fifth, there is the principle of amplified vitality and endurance. Many believe that the path to abundance requires a constant hustle, a burning of the midnight oil until the point of exhaustion. But this is a profound misunderstanding. Burnout is not a badge of honor. It is a sign of a deep energy crisis. You cannot create lasting wealth if you destroy the very vessel of its creation, your body. The creative life force is fundamentally linked to your physical vitality. It is the very battery pack of your nervous system, the wellspring of your physical health. When you engage in conscious conservation of this energy, you will notice a dramatic shift in your physical reality. Your sleep becomes deeper and more restorative. Your mind becomes clear and more focused during the day. You possess a steady, enduring energy that does not rely on the artificial highs of caffeine or sugar. This is sustainable power. Think of it like managing a financial portfolio. A reckless spender who lives for immediate gratification will soon find their accounts empty. A wise investor, however, allows their capital to grow, to compound, creating a resource that can be drawn upon for years to come. Your vital energy is your most precious biological capital. By conserving it, you are making a long-term investment in your health, your clarity, and your capacity to do deep, meaningful work over an extended period. This grounded physical energy allows you to show up day after day with the stamina and focus required to build something of true and lasting value. Prosperity does not flow to the exhausted and the depleted. It is a natural consequence of a life lived in a state of vibrant, radiant health. Sixth, we must open ourselves to a deepened intuitive guidance. In a world drowning in data and information, the ultimate advantage is not more knowledge, but clearer wisdom. It is the ability to perceive the signal through the noise, to make the right decision even when the logical path is unclear. This capacity is called intuition, and it is a faculty that is either nourished or starved by how you manage your life force. When your energy is scattered and depleted, your mind is a chaotic marketplace of conflicting thoughts, anxieties, and external opinions. Your inner guidance system is drowned out by the static. You become disconnected from that quiet, still voice within that always knows the next right step. You find yourself overthinking, second-guessing, and making decisions based on fear or a desire to please others, rather than on a deep, internal knowing. But as you conserve and cultivate your creative current, your inner world begins to quiet down. The frantic energy of the mind settles, like sediment in a still pond. In this clarity, your intuition begins to speak, and you are finally able to hear it. It doesn't scream, it whispers. It communicates through subtle feelings, synchronicities, and sudden insights. This is the inner compass that guides you towards opportunities aligned with your deepest purpose and away from paths that would drain your spirit. By honoring your sexual energy, you are not suppressing it, you are refining it. You are raising its frequency from a dense, primal impulse to a highly attuned antenna of consciousness, capable of perceiving the subtle currents of an ever-changing world. The most prosperous individuals are not just hard workers, they are guided workers, in partnership with a profound intelligence that flows through them when they create the inner space to listen. And seventh, we cultivate harmony in creative partnership. No great success is ever achieved in isolation. Our relationships, particularly our most intimate ones, are either a powerful engine for our growth or a significant drain on our life force. The way you manage your creative energy has a direct and profound impact on the quality and depth of these connections. When you operate from a state of energetic lack, you unconsciously approach relationships as a consumer. You seek a partner to fill your emptiness, to validate your worth, to give you the energy you do not possess. This creates a dynamic of dependency and transactional exchange, which is fragile and often leads to conflict and resentment. It exhausts both partners, as neither can ever truly fill the void in the other. However, when you cultivate your own inner wealth of energy, you enter into partnership from a place of wholeness. You become a generator, not a consumer. You are not looking for someone to complete you, but for someone with whom you can share your completeness. Your relationship ceases to be an escape from yourself and becomes a sacred space for co-creation. You and your partner can then consciously use your combined energies to support each other's highest aspirations. The friction of neediness is replaced by the harmony of mutual support. This stability creates an unbreakable foundation from which both of you can move out into the world with confidence and power. Abundance multiplies in an environment of love and genuine support. By first becoming a master of your own inner world, you create the conditions for a relationship that is not a distraction from your purpose, but the most powerful amplifier of it. You have now journeyed through these 7 transformative understandings. This is not just information. It is an invitation to see the most misunderstood part of your nature as the most sacred source of your creative power. The path is not one of guilt or shame, nor is it one of reckless abandon. It is a middle way, a path of consciousness, of honor, of deliberate creation. The journey begins anew each morning. It is a choice you make in how you direct your first thoughts, in where you place your focus, in how you honor the temple of your body. It is a commitment you make to yourself to cease being a passive vessel, tossed about by the currents of impulse, and become the conscious director of your own magnificent life force. To seal this understanding and to commit to your own path of mastery, I invite you now to become a permanent part of this community of growth. Subscribe to this channel. See it not as a click on a screen, but as an affirmation, a promise to yourself that you will continue to show up for your own evolution, that you will honor the incredible, abundant, and creative power that resides within you. Go forth and create, not from a place of frantic seeking, but from the deep, calm, and unshakable foundation of your own inner wealth. The world is waiting for the unique gift that only you can bring.